Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Nazir, Parak Ches, Chapter 8. We are still in the middle of Mishnah Aleph, Mishnah 1. Now, just to briefly review what's been going on until now is that we started off with a situation of two Nazirim that were walking together. One person said about them, I saw one of you become tamei through the impurity of a dead body, which means one of you have to start your Naziris over again, but I don't know which one of you it was. So the Mishnah first spoke about, so what should these two people do in order to be able to deal with their doubt? One of them is a Nazir Tar, that means he can just continue finishing. The Nazir Tameh can't continue finishing. He's got to cut his hair, bring sacrifices, start all over again. But they don't know which one. We don't know who's who. They don't know if they're. Each one doesn't know. Are they the tahar one, the pure one, or the impure one? So the Mishnah began with what they should both do in order to take care of fulfilling all their obligations as Nazirim. Yesterday's part of the Mishnah was a discussion: what happens when one of them dies? And because one of them dies, you don't have, all the things that can be done between the two of them. And therefore, yesterday's Mishnah spoke about that what should be done for the surviving Nazir is to find someone else from the outside who will take upon themselves voluntarily to be a Nazir in a way that will help this person who is surviving work out his doubtful status of whether he is a Nazir that is pure or a Nazir that is impure. So now we will go to the third opinion, or actually the second opinion, what to do in this circumstance. So Amar Loi Ben Zayma said to, it was Rabbi Yeshua, I believe, it was Rabbi Yeshua who spoke before. Amar Loi Ben Zayma, the sage named Ben Zayma, the son of Zayma, said to Rabbi Yeshua, Umi Shemei Loi Sheyidar Kenegdo Ben Nazir. Who is going to listen to the surviving Nazir to become a Nazir opposite him? Meaning, as we said yesterday, if you're going to find someone else to, so to speak, be a Nazir in correspondence with him, to work things out together with him, you've got a person who's, number one, has to voluntarily be willing to be a Nazir, and number two, practically speaking, he's going to be a Nazir for 60 days. That's not a short period of time. So it's going to be very hard to find someone to voluntarily do that, to assist the surviving Nazir. So therefore, Ben Zayma said, here is what you do. We're going to deal with the surviving Nazir alone. Ben Zayma is going to give the surviving Nazir alone the plan of how to deal with his question. And let's remind ourselves, his question is that he is a Nazir. That's no question. The question is, did he become Tameh? If he became Tameh, then he cannot continue fulfilling his days of Naziris. He's got to cut his hair. He's got to bring sacrifices. He's got to start all over again. But that's if he's a Nazir Tameh. If he's a Nazir Tar, if he didn't become Tameh, then he can't cut his hair in the middle of his term of Naziris. He's got to finish it up first. But that's his predicament. He doesn't know which way. He doesn't know what to do because he doesn't know what he is. Whether he was a Nazir Tameh, Nazir Tar, he doesn't know what he needs to do to go forward. He doesn't know exactly which sacrifices to bring. So what does he do? So Ben Zayma says, Elamevi chata sa'oif v'elas behema. He brings a sin offering, a bird sin offering, and a ola from a animal. Now, just again to remind ourselves, the difference between the sacrifices that a Nazir who is Tameh, meaning who became Tameh, he's got to shave his head, he's got to start all over again. So a Nazir shaving for his Tumah brings two birds. One as a sin offering, one as a burnt offering, and a lamb as an Ashana offering. That's what the Nazir Tameh brings. A Nazir who is Tar and concluding his term brings a male lamb as an Ola, a burnt offering, a female lamb as a Chatas, a female lamb as a sin offering, and a ram, which is adult male sheep, as a Shlamim offering. Those are the differences between what they have to do. Now, this person is actually bringing a bird, right, which is the type of animal you got to use for a Nazir Tameh, for the Nazir who is impure. The Nazir who is Tar does not bring any bird as part of his set of sacrifices that he uses for the conclusion of his Naziris. So he's bringing a bird. The bird is going to be the Chata Sa'if, the sin offering, that the Nazir Tameh has to bring. He's going to bring an ola, a burnt offering from a behemoth, from an animal. Now, as we said, an animal burnt offering was what a Nazir Torah needs. And actually, for him, the ola was a male lamb. And he is going to bring that. The Omer. And then he declares, Im Tameh Hayisi, if I was the Nazir who became impure, Hachatos Mecharvasi, the sin offering of the bird sin offering will be to fulfill my obligation as a Nazir who is impure. V'ha'ola nedava, and the burnt offering from the animal will be a nedava, will be a voluntary ola. An ola can be voluntary. We spoken before about other types of sacrifices, obligatory sacrifices, that typically cannot be brought voluntarily in case I need to bring it. In this case, what he's doing is he's saying like this: if I'm the Tameh one, if I'm the one who became Tameh, then I need to bring a bird as a sin offering, and that's what the bird is going to be for. The ola that I'm bringing from an animal is not part of my sacrifices if I'm impure. So that's going to be a voluntary offering. Vim tar ha'yisi, and if I'm the tar one, ha'ola mechavasi, the burnt offering is part of my obligation. V'achatos b'safek, and the sin offering will be brought in doubt. Now, what I really should have mentioned before this declaration is that this declaration is going to be made after he completes his term of Naziris. That means he took upon himself, let's say, to be a Nazir for 30 days. Then the doubt came about, did he become Tameh or not? If he didn't become Tameh, he's got to finish his Naziris before he can cut his hair, bring his sacrifices, go back to living not like a Nazir. If he's Tameh, if he's impure, then already he's supposed to cut his hair right away. But he doesn't know what he is, because he doesn't know what he is. So after completing the term of Naziris that he took upon himself, in case he is the Nazir Tar, in case he is the Nazir who is pure, so now after that, he makes a declaration, and he says, if I was the Tameh one, which means I really have to, start all over again right now, cutting my hair, bringing my sacrifices. So what I'm going to have here is one sacrifice from the set of animals, from the set of sacrifices that I have to bring if I was a Nazir Tameh. And what is that? That is the sin offering of the bird sin offering. The bird sin offering is going to be, this what the bird is for. It's going to be, if I'm the Tameh one, this is the animal, this is my sin offering from the bird that I have to bring if I was Tameh. And that's the only thing here. There's no other animals mentioned that he's using for his sin offering. There's no other animals. He's only bringing one carbon from the set of animals he has supposed to bring when he becomes impure. But that's enough to be able, that if he was Tameh, if he just brought one, that's enough to enable him to shave his head and to start all over his Naziris over again. Now, the burnt offering then has no place. There's no point of an animal burnt offering if right now he's a Nazir, he's looking at him, he's a Nazir Tameh, he's a Nazir that's impure, and needs to start all over again. There was no animal burnt offering involved in those animals. So, therefore, this burnt offering is therefore, if I'm the Tameh one, it's a voluntary. Vim Tara Yisi, but if I was the Tara one, which means now I am concluding my Naziris. Now, if I'm concluding my Naziris, the animal for the burnt offering is part of my obligation. That's what I have to bring. And even though right now all I'm bringing is one of those animals, one of those sacrifices I need to bring, that'll be enough to allow me to go back to cutting my hair, allow me to cut my hair, allow me to go back to living not like a Nazir. What's with this bird offering, the sin offering of the bird? What place does it have? There's no such thing as a bird sin offering for a Nazir Tahar. The answer is Basafik. That was brought because of the doubt. And as we mentioned previously, a bird offering can be brought in doubt. That's the exception to the rule. Any other sin offering cannot be brought in doubt, but a bird sin offering could be brought in doubt. So therefore, why do we bring this bird offering? Well, that's because in case I was Tameh, I needed it. But again, if I was the Tar one, I brought it in case I was the Tameh one. I brought it out of doubt, and that's valid. All right. Now, So if he was a Nazir Tahar, he's done. But if he was a Nazir Tameh, he's got to now start all over again and keep the term of Naziris that he vowed to begin with. So therefore, the Sefer Shleishim Yom, he counts another 30 days, umayvi carbon tahara, and then he brings a set of animal sacrifices that are the sacrifice of purity, the sacrifices for a Nazir who completed his term. Now let's remember, this person now who is bringing this set of animals, he's bringing a set of karbonis for Nazir Tahar, he's not really sure if this was for real or not. He may have completed his Naziris previously if he was never pure to begin with. And he's doing this in case he was impure, and now he's got to do it in purity, in the state of purity. But he brings a set of animals, and he says, Im tamei hayisi. Now, it's not going to be the full set, but let's read this. Im tamei hayisi, if I was tamei, well, I shouldn't say that. Im tamei hayisi, if I was a tamei one previously, then remember, previously he brought an animal for a burnt offering. And he said, then that is for my obligation for being impure. And that's what he's repeating right now. Ha'ila rishayna nedava. The previous Ayla was voluntary. Because when you're impure, there's no animal Ayla that you're supposed to bring. So Ha'ila rishayna nedava. The previous Ayla was voluntary. The Zuchayva. And the one I have now is obligatory. Because right now is when I have completed my term of Naziris impurity. Vimtar hayisi, and if I was pure before, I was the pure one before, then ha'ayla rishayna chayva, then the previous ayla was for my obligation, v'zay nedava, and this one is a nedava, it is voluntary, v'zeh sha'ar karbani, and now the other ones are the rest of my carbon. Now, let's clarify this, okay? This guy now, he completed another 30 days. He did so because maybe before he was tummy, now he's got to be tar. Now, if his point is like this, he now has a set of animals for a carbon tahara. The set is like we said before, there is a sin offering, a burnt offering, and a shlomim. And he's brought all three animals. But he says like this. Now, he says, if I was tamei before, right, then the ola that I brought before was my if I was tamei before, the ola animal the animal that I brought for an ola before was voluntary. Okay? And now, which that means that now that I was a Nazir Tar and I had to now fulfill my Naziris b'tahara, and I've completed it now, so the animal burnt offering now is what? My obligation. I'm supposed to bring it. Because that means now I'm a Nazir Tahar, and I was supposed to do that before. I'm a Nazir Tahar. I didn't do that before because before I was Tameh, and now I'm doing it. And if I was pure before, and don't forget, all he brought was one animal from the set of animals he has to use that he has to bring if he's Tahar, then the all I brought before was part of my obligation for completing my Naziris in impurity, Vizunadava, and this one is voluntary because I brought it already. But the other two animals that you need, a Nazir who completes the Naziris has to bring, he never brought. He never brought them. Because even if it would have been the Nazir Tar to begin with, he only brought one animal from the set. So now the other two animals are either way part of what he has to do. He's either completing the set of karbanas of purity that he should have done before because he was never the tummy one, or he's bringing it now because he was the tummy one before and now he's tar and he completed his Naziris and he's bringing all three out of obligation. So what happened here is he split it up. What's happening here is he's saying, in case he was the tar one to begin with, then basically I started bringing my sacrifices for the completion before, and I'm finishing it now. So Amar Rabbi Yeshua said, Nim sezeh mevi karbonosav lachatzayim. It comes out that now he's bringing his carbon in half, meaning he's bringing it in pieces. Torah says bring it together. He's not bringing it together. But the sages agree with Ben Zayma that it's not a big deal. It's not a problem that he's bringing it at separate times. And therefore, Ben Zayma's solution to this person is the way to go. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.